we're all familiar with the phrase Open Sesame, which was first used in print in the 1001 Nights. But the phrase actually came from this plant right here. This is a sesame plant, and we have it growing here in our herb garden. And I'll get to why Open Sesame fits this plant so well a little bit later. But first I wanted to tell you about it. This, again, is a sesame plant, and it is an annual plant. It grows from seed, and you need to plant the seed when it's very warm outside, about a month after the last frost, hard killing freeze that we have. And the plant can grow anywhere from 2 to 5 feet tall, and we have a very robust specimen here. We've got one that's almost 5 feet tall. And you can get cultivars that are either branched or unbranched. And sesame is one of the oldest cultivated plants. It's been cultivated for centuries, and people have used the seeds to cook with and the oil to cook with as well. Now, as I was talking about, we wanted to plant this when it is very warm outside, and we actually only got one to come up. But if you look down here at the base of the plant, you can see that we have a very hardy plant. We've got a nice thick stem on it, but we only had one seed germinate. And probably, it's hard to remember that now, but we had a very cool, wet spring. And so we only got one to germinate. Sesame likes very hot, very dry weather, and it's actually a very drought-tolerant plant once it's become established. It doesn't like to be waterlogged, and it has a very extensive fibrous root system. In fact, it's a good soil kind of loosener plant because of this root system. You also see it has a lot of very large, opposite green leaves, and then as we look along the stem here, you can see the pods, which this is what the sesame seed is formed in. These are all seed pods. Now the plant blooms at the top and it just keeps growing. It's indeterminate, like an indeterminate tomato. It'll just keep growing and blooming and setting seed along the side here. Now, where the phrase open sesame comes from is that when the seed is ripe, the pods actually pop open very easily, and that's pop open, open sesame, and the seeds spill out. Now, I want to show you some of these seeds here real quick. Let me get one of these. And this is not quite ripe yet. You can harvest sesame when the pods turn brown, and they'll turn brown from the base. But I wanted to show you all the seeds on the inside. It opens really fairly easy even before it's completely ripened. And you can see inside here we have tins, probably 50 to 60 seeds just lined up on either side here. So when this ripens, they'll open up and then the pods kind of sit there. Now the way you harvest sesame, again, you can just manually harvest it by picking the pods as they open up, or you can actually cut the plant. And this is really important if you think it's going to freeze. You're going to want to get your sesame harvested in the inside before the freeze, because a freeze can make the seed and the oil from the seeds rancid. So you want to get them in. Now, we usually think about cutting something and letting it dry. We would cut it at the base and hang it up upside down to let it dry. You don't want to do that with sesame, because as the pods dry, they would all pop open and you'd lose all your seeds on the floor. So what you want to do is harvest this and then bundle it together and tie it with string and let it just cure for a couple of weeks. And about 2 days later, after you've tied it with string, you're going to want to tighten that back up because it will kind of shrink. But you want to set it all, again, facing up so that your seed doesn't fall out of the pod. And then you can just come through and thresh it and use your sesame seed. So anyway, open sesame really did come from the sesame plant, and this is a fun plant to grow in your garden.
We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. You can also find more recent videos on our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.